It's about that time for Ready, Set, Real Estate with yours truly, Lisa Puerto, super agent, the one, the only, and the original. We have another fantastic show. I am beyond thrilled and excited to bring my next guest, Leon Townsend. He is city manager, also realtor associate and partner. He's got quite a resume. And I really love connecting with like-minded individuals. But before I get into connecting you all with Leon, let me first say that this show is sponsored by Thelonious C. Jones, the solutionist, real estate investor, and author of What the Real Estate Gurus Don't Tell You. So for those of you who are interested in learning about real estate investing, this brother here has vested money, time, and energy to make it seamless for you. So I want you to check his website out, support his book, What the Real Estate Gurus Don't Tell You. And you can visit the website at gurusdon'ttellyu.com. Gurusdon'ttellyu.com. Leon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I am so excited to actually have you on here. I'm probably going to air out our business. I'm going to let everybody know that Leon has been helping me behind the scenes, just doing some amazing things with our young professional networks within the real estate industry. So I just want to say first and foremost, thank you for building me up and supporting me and stepping out into an area that I'm not familiar with, because you are a chapter president for your realtor association. So it's really an honor to have you on the show. And I'll first also let people know that we connected at a housing conference, and it was very just wonderful, Leon, to see you a part of that panel. And I'm your cheerleader. Go, Leon, go.
I
Go,
appreciate
Leon,
that.
go. So, Leon, please share with us a little bit today. We're just going to touch the surface and want to give people an opportunity to connect with you and learn more about the amazing things that you're doing, and share with them a little bit about what you're doing. And I actually want to hear about Sacramento because,
Sure.
yeah, I think this is great for people to see all aspects of positions in the industry and the opportunities it affords us to learn and grow, connect with other people.
Yeah, so, oh man, it's amazing. Well, my formal title is city manager at
Yes.
my brokerage. So that allows me I handle a specific territory in Los Angeles. That allows me to deal with agents and homeowners and home sellers and home buyers in that specific area. That allows me to even recruit agents. So agents that, want to get into real estate, want to help, first time home buyers and help people buy and sell. I get to give them the training to do that, which I love. That's my teaching background and, full play. So, that's my main day to day. But outside of that, I'm involved in my association, as like you
Yeah.
said, the chapter president of our YPN. So that allows me to go to Sacramento. It's one time every year around the same time, usually last week of April, first week of May. And you get to meet with like your assemblyman and congressperson, and you talk about anything that affects negatively or positively home ownership for anybody, people that want to buy, people that are trying to either downsize because their kids are old, they're older and they got their own places and they can't go up and down the stairs. So any
Right.
laws that, affect home ownership, that's what we go and we express our disapproval or approval as realtors to our assemblyman, because we're the number one a consumer advocate group in the United States is realtors. Not only
Wow.
just so not only in California but all over the United States. Where the realtors have their own party, which most people don't even realize.
Right.
So
Right. And
so
see,
as you
I wanted to just kind of delve on that, just kind of touch on that just a little bit so we can expand. As you're talking about being a voice is what I'm hearing. You're being a voice and on the forefront for real estate advocacy. We do real estate advocacy, at least in my arena, through the nonprofit, and I do it in the way that I'm passionate about. And that's why I said, I'm looking at Leon. I'm looking at the Leons in the world and saying, look at Leon, he's out, he's out doing the committees and the board meetings, and where there's some real power in that. And I
Right.
just want to say thank you for that, because that is a teaching moment, and I think a moment to encourage other professionals in the industry to learn to be a voice beyond the sales,
Right.
beyond the sales. Yeah.
And
So
I think I was gonna say, to touch on your point, the one thing that a lot of people don't actually realize, there's more to our industry than just buying and selling and helping people. You know, as and
yes,
everybody else knows, we're in a desperate housing crisis.
yes,
So the only way to prevent that, or to negate that, or to minimize that, is to find ways to supply. But
right,
a lot of the laws that are up for, if you're eligible to vote, are trying to prevent that from happening, which makes this crisis even worse than it's going to be already. And a lot of
wow,
people are just we all, realtors are out to make money. You're 1099, that's amazing. But if you focus on that, you're missing out on what actually will help you grow your business in the future.
right,
You know.
wow. And that, you know what, and that's, we'll circle back to the housing conference as we're talking about. And I felt amazing. I think that was maybe one of few times where, when I looked at being represented, was important. And for me, it was a little bit of, our clients go sometimes through sticker shock. I think for me, it was a little bit of a shock to see that there wasn't too much representation in terms of younger professionals
Right.
uh, in that space, in that housing space, that housing advocacy space. And where I see myself being pulled in that direction, because I prior to the work that I'm doing, I would not have probably called myself or even see myself as an activist. But now I'm like 10 toes to the concrete, you know, and it's taking on its own form. And so this is why when I look at someone like you, and I lean upon you, and I've said this, so it means a lot to me when you're like, hey, I got your back. We need that. People
Right.
like me, who I'm not familiar with it, to say, for you to say to me, I've got your back, and that just means a whole lot to me. So
Oh
yes.
yeah. Because like for me, what I think about is, you have to build people up, but also you're in the same industry. We're all going to be fighting to stay relevant in the next couple of years.
Yes.
With Zillow instant offers now, and Amazon trying to tap into the real estate industry. The professionals are fighting to stay relevant, no matter age. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry. It doesn't matter if you made $10 million last year.
Right.
These companies are trying to take us over because they feel that human presence of somebody that knows the knowledge is not relevant anymore, and that's
Right.
where they're wrong.
Right. No,
So,
I am it's so funny that you're touching on that, but I think it's very synchronistic. And then let's have this conversation now, because my intern, so I brought in a ninth grader. It's our first ninth grader as part of our real estate internship program through Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation. And he did not even know that the MLS existed. All he knew was Zillow as a search engine.
right,
Now that's kind of where I see the work we're doing is important, number one. But number two, it shows how the marketing tactics really can make the consumer industry, or the consumer, feel like Zillow is the engine running our industry.
right,
And so it's important, again, that people see the professional, see the value in the profession, in that professional, which is why it's important that I bring on people that I'm connecting with, that are passionate about what they do. They're purposeful about what they do. There's integrity, there's authenticity, there's a real estate advocacy, especially because, as we know that real estate goes through cycles with boom and bust. We'll see that people are going to get washed out this industry when the money and the market is not very high, it's not prime. And then it's like, okay, what are you going to do?
right,
So when I look at companies like Zillow and the Amazons that are vying for inventory, and they're vying for the buyers, and they're vying for the sellers, and making it seem like the agent is not of use, I really have to paint this picture and point this out to people and say, it's not technology replacing agents, it's agents using technology replacing agents.
Right. And
Because,
I think
yeah,
I was gonna say the thing that I think that most people don't realize is Zillow, Amazon, Redfin, Trulia, they all had to pay to get access to the MLS. But
say
I
it,
wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't expect a customer or a consumer to know what the MLS is.
right,
Personally, to tell you the truth, that's
right.
up to us. And
That is up to us. Yes.
and the thing that most people don't realize is Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, they update every 24 hours. The MLS updates every 15 to 30 minutes for everybody that's an authorized member of the MLS.
Look, I'm leaning in, Leon, so that people know this is their cue to pay attention to what you just said. We have real time updates. Those systems have a delay. And why? Because it's legally designed for them to have that because of the nature of the relationship they have with our systems and our industry.
Exactly.
So, hashtag facts.
It is. And honestly, we pay our dues for the MLS. We pay for that stuff. So it's not like it's given to a realtor for free.
Right.
It's not necessarily it's a competitive advantage, but
Sure.
there's only so much you can give outside sources to utilize what we have, because you can't replace an actual realtor that knows the area, knows the ups and downs, and has access to a home that's gonna either foreclose or be in escrow or on contract, pending, closed. That 15 to 30 minutes makes a life change for a buyer that's desperately
Absolutely.
trying to find.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you painted it that way and you articulated so people can understand really what we're having access to. And it is uh, through our contacts and our relationships with our title officers, our title companies, our escrow companies, our lenders, and our network and our partnerships, we have access to information that the general public does not, which makes
Sure.
me feel pretty super agent.
As you should. As you
Right. It
should.
makes me feel pretty awesome about that because when people are looking at these online third party search engines and sources, they still have to come back and double check the information. And oftentimes they're seeing properties that are foreclosed on already. It's sold, it's been auctioned off. And it's really a just nice big casting net is what I try to educate folks on. And also to really understand. And I also was thinking about this, Leon, that maybe I should do a quick webinar on how a buyer or a seller or a consumer who's using the agents can actually understand what they're looking at. Because oftentimes they think they're looking at the listing agent and they're not.
Right.
Because there's things about being boosted and having those paid for advertising and featured spots. And to the most consumers, they're usually under the impression, because of the way it's being presented, that they're dealing with the agent who actually has that property listed. So that for me was also a moment of, it's always a teaching moment for my clients and a moment to, as I think about this, I keep having to say this. So I'm like, maybe I need to do a webinar. What do you think, Leon? We should do a webinar?
I think it's a great idea, honestly, to tell you the truth.
We should
Because
do
like
a
you
webinar.
said, like you said, agents are paying, thousands of dollars to have those, listings boosted. But then you go to MLS, you're like, yeah, that's not their listing. They're
That's
just
not their
advertising. You're just advertising because that's the city that they work. But
right,
the thing that a lot of people don't know is that you have Zillow. Zillow charges you for leads. Like, but who says the
right,
leads are 100% consistent, accurate, and trustworthy? You'll shell out thousands of dollars a month or even a year to think you have reliable leads, and if you close one, you're like, oh yeah, I broke even. But look
right,
what you had to do to break even when you could have done all the other things that we do
right.
to
Yeah,
get
that
leads and to service our cities.
service our cities, service our communities. I appreciate that perspective. See, and this is the nice thing about having this platform, because these are the conversations most people are not going to be having and looking at the politics of the industry, if you will be. And I say that jokingly because yes, we're learning. I think, especially among each other, we're learning just kind of the oopsies. I'm not going to do that again from an industry standpoint. And then as we see our system actually has gone under a complete remakeover. Our interface has been redesigned and rebuilt so that it's more robust and more appealing. And most people don't realize they actually can search our site as a guest.
Right. And they don't know that.
So they don't know that. Again, you know this today, you all. Contact your realtor, real estate professional who has access to the inside real-time updates of a property, of a market, of an area, so that you can get accurate information that's up to date. So that's my side plug. Not dissuading, and I'm not knocking any, the other companies. It's just, I think it behooves us when we know better, we do better, right? And
Exactly.
when we're educated and we're empowered and armed with the information, then we can make informed and intelligent decisions, especially when we're talking about negotiating properties. So that's my side on that. Let's talk about the Power Is Now. Would you please share a little bit more about what the Power Is Now, your role in that, and how people can connect and learn more?
Yeah, definitely. So the Power Is Now is, it's a brokerage. It's also, we help with mortgages, but our main goal is to educate and empower the youth, not only the youth, but buyers and sellers today. So we have every week we have a home buyer seminar every Tuesday night between 7 and 8. That's mainly focused on those who are first time home buyers, informing them of all the different mortgage programs that you have. Difference between FHA and conventional. What's a HUD home. How to save, how to fix your credit. So it's everything a first time home buyer or seller or somebody who hasn't purchased a home or sold a home in 25, 30 years. That's pretty much what that is. And we also have marketing sessions for realtors that are current. So if you have a listing and you want to have another avenue of marketing it to get more eyes on it, that's every Thursday from 12:30 to 1:30. So we're
That's
pretty
great.
much, yeah, we do Facebook Live for all our home buyer seminars.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome. I see.
yep,
This is one thing that I keep telling folks. Go where people are. Where are they, Leon? Right here. Boom, on the phone.
yep,
Just like this show, right? Radio, it's radio podcast everywhere. And what tickles me about doing this, actually, I've learned this. There was a statistic that was done that showed that radio podcasts in comparison to AM and FM has a much larger reach, and people are actually more apt to listening to a 3 hour podcast,
wow,
and that for me is huge when you talk about our attention span with social media, right? Swipe,
right,
swipe, 3 seconds, 6 seconds, swipe, swipe. Instagram gives you 60-second videos, but yet people are willing to listen to at minimum or up to a 3 hour podcast. So I'm
wow,
excited, and I'm just going to throw out there, if you haven't connected and downloaded the Ready Set Real Estate podcast, we are available on podcasts everywhere. And the reason why that's huge and that stuck out to me is because it pointed out that someone in another country can find your podcast, whereas on the AM and FM transmitters, you're limited to a certain area. So that for me
right.
was huge.
That, and I did not even know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, Leon, we're global, man. We're global.
Yes, we are.
So
So
when you say
that's
something like
amazing.
home buyer workshop and you're doing it via Facebook Live, you've just opened up yourself to a global market. So I
Right.
commend you. That's wonderful. And that's been one thing I've been wanting to stress to other agents and other professionals. Go where people are. It's great if they come in, but for the most part, people don't want your lemonade and cookies.
I mean, cookies do sound good. I never turn down a good cookie, personally, to tell you the truth.
Right. Right. So that's huge. So when's the next webinar? So next Facebook Live is coming up so that people, I've got the website up, thepowerisnow.com. They
Yes, and
can
you could
learn
always,
more.
yeah, and you could always watch some of the past ones that we do. Those are always available. We're on Blog Talk Radio as well. If
Wonderful.
you, so if you go to the Facebook page, you could even
Yeah.
pull up some of the past ones, or they're also on the website. Any questions that you just have in general about anything related to real estate, you can find it there. That's also available. So
See, you see, there's no excuse. Get this information. Oh, by the way, how much does it cost?
it's free.
It's free. Oh
It's
my
free.
goodness. It's free. All this real estate knowledge, you mean people are paying like thousands of dollars for Google workshops and seminars, and you giving all
Nope.
this information for free?
Doesn't cost you a dime.
Wow.
Only thing you gotta do is take the time and sit and watch the video, take notes. You know, ask an agent or even ask your realtor. It doesn't, you know, we're not necessarily recruiting for realtors. Our goal is to obviously grow as a business, but our goal is to make sure everybody is completely and utterly informed about
I
what it
appreciate that.
takes.
I appreciate that. And with that being said, I think that was a great segue. Leon, we're going to get ready to wrap it up. Believe it or not, 20 minutes went just like that.
Wow, time
Just
flies
like,
when you're having fun.
yes. And you know, I'll bring you back on the show, especially as what we're working on behind the scenes as makes more strides in development. I want to have you back on so we can talk about the progress we're making and stuff like that. So I know we're in our initial stages, and I want to share with people. I'm huge about transparency. I'm huge on transparency. So I'd like for people to also see my growth in the terms of the work that I'm doing in terms of advocacy, and you're integral to that. So we're going to bring you back on so we can talk about my learning curves along the way.
I would love to be on.
Absolutely. We thank you, Leon, for coming on the show. Again, as you talked about growing and learning and empowering and arming, be sure you all to subscribe to the podcast, Ready, Set, Real Estate. And do know that this show supports our nonprofit, Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation. You can visit our website at realestate100youth.org. Please donate. It helps our programs like the real estate internship program, where we just brought on our first ninth grader right here in Los Angeles. And we continue to do a lot more. Of course, we need your help and donations, your time, your energy, your referrals, your resources, and your connections to help us do something amazing within our own real estate industry. And again, I am striving, Leon, to make this the Boys and Girls Club of the real estate industry, and there's nothing that's going to stop us.
Sounds great. It's amazing. I love what you're
I'm
doing.
excited. You all be sure to catch us next week on Ready, Set, Real Estate. And Leon, thank you for coming on. We'll see you again soon.
My pleasure.